Come to Helmuth Ford, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Hi, this is Stacy from Shetler Insurance Services. Come see me on the east side of the square in Sigourney for all your insurance needs. Nice weather is finally here, and it has a funny way of inspiring home projects. Good news, your hometown lumber store is ready to help make those ideas happen. From quality decking and railing to energy-efficient windows and beautiful new doors, you'll find the products, expertise, and service you need to upgrade your home this season. So whether you're building, updating, repairing, or finally getting started, we're here to help every step of the way. Visit Sigourney Lumber today. Everything you need for summer projects, all in one place.
Skunk River Radio is online radio for Southeast Iowa, playing country music from 1990 through 2010, along with Iowa country music. Listen to Steve Shetler weekdays from 6 a.m. to noon and The Haze from noon to 6 p.m. Skunk River Radio also has Southeast Iowa weather, community calendar, and we play all your country music favorites like Garth, Reba, Shania, Brooks and Dunn, and many, many more. Listen to Skunk River Radio at skunkriverradio.com. Download the app with Apple and Android devices or listen on Alexa and Google Assistant. Skunk River Radio. Online radio for Southeast Iowa.
Hey, we are back. It is a Tuesday evening. Bam. Aaron and Steve and Aaron, Real Talk. Keeping it real, sponsored by New Life Community Church in Wellman, where this guy's the pastor. What's that?
New Life Community Church wants you to join us on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock in downtown Wellman because we are your friendly downtown church.
Downtown.
Wellman. Yes, sirree, Bob. If you're looking for a church and you live anywhere close to Wellman, Iowa, you should drop in and join us. We always got a pot of coffee on, and Grace Schumann supplies us with a variety of coffee creamers.
Wow!
And over the summer months here, we've had iced coffee available, Steve. Okay. So I know you're not a coffee drinker. You get your caffeine from Diet Pepsi, right?
Usually a Diet Dew. But yeah, Pepsi product of some sort.
Pepsi product of some sort.
Yes. Totally healthy, totally natural.
And that was, we're not saying that because of a promotional consideration.
No.
That comes straight from your heart.
It does.
Yeah.
And probably in my heart. Probably adding to my demise.
Well, I mean, it's Diet Pepsi, so it shouldn't be adding to your calorie count. So, I mean, it's basically an elixir of health.
Yes.
So,
heck yeah.
Anyway, actually, this is a little bit unusual, but we do have a couple of Pepsis in the fridge at New Life. So come on down and join us and say, Aaron sent me, and he said I could have a pop.
Yeah.
And you can get you a cold pop straight from the fridge while supplies last. It's actually left over from Father's Day because every Father's Day we do hot dogs and pop for the dads.
Okay.
Sorry, ladies, you got to come up with your own thing. And they do. The ladies have been doing a tea party on Mother's Day.
All right.
But, yeah, Father's Day is hot dogs and pop for all the dads. And it's kind of not fair because I have to preach while everybody else is eating dogs and sipping sodas. But we're serious about having fun at New Life, so we just do stuff like that. We got plenty of messed up people at our church too, Steve.
Doesn't everybody?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I sure hope so. You get some churches maybe. Oh man, I hate to do this. I don't like to criticize other churches, but for this one time on Real Talk, we'll just go ahead. There's some churches where everybody's trying really hard to pretend like they've got it all together, and that's just fake, man. Mm-hmm. And so don't be like that. And that's our message for the day.
Yeah, I'm looking for a fake church to have fake talk here on Steve Shetler Media. If you're that church, let me know, and we'll get a show going. False teachings.
Fake talk and false teachings with...
Oh, man.
Yeah. Uh-oh, now. Oh.
Yeah, reel it back in.
Okay, reel it in. because we're talking about how I just got to shake my head and clear it a little
It's like
bit.
a fever dream.
Yeah. Okay. So what I was saying, the place that we were trying to go was the Bible. Sometimes I say that the Bible comes from long ago. We had friends and we were doing Bible studies on something or other, and the book we were using kept referring to a translation that was TAB.
Okay.
Which is actually the Amplified Bible.
All right.
Have you ever seen the Amplified Bible?
I don't know if I have.
It doesn't matter. It's the Amplified Bible.
Tab.
Yeah. But our friends couldn't figure out what TAB was, and so they thought it was just like the Bible. So that's just stuck in my brain. So we're looking at the Bible. Actually, it's the NIV translation. But anyway, that's not the point. Here's the point. Messed up families, and in this family that God has appointed to be a blessing to all the other families on earth, things just keep getting worse and worse and worse because people keep lying to each other and hiding their true identity and being really fake, and that leads to them like destroying a town full of people, just wiping everybody out, and that's not a blessing to anybody. But then it goes from destroying other people's towns to the 10 older brothers in this family actually selling their brother Joseph into slavery. And then of course they don't go home and tell Dad, "Yeah, Dad, we just really hate Joseph, so we sold him off to Egypt." They take his richly ornamented robe and dunk it in goat's blood, and they take it back to their father and like, "Oh, we found this robe." And their dad's like, "Oh no, some ferocious animal has devoured him. Joseph has surely been torn to pieces." And they're all like, "Yeah, that must be. Yeah, Dad, we couldn't have said it better ourselves." So Jacob tore his clothes, put on sackcloth, and mourned for his son for many days. All his sons and daughters came to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. "No," he said, "in mourning I will go down to the grave for my son." So his father wept for him. So the brothers sell off Joseph. They lie to their dad about it. And then he falls into this deep depression and refuses to be comforted. And so it's a giant mess. And the very next chapter starts off with these words: "At that time, Judah left his brothers and went down to stay in a different place." And funny thing about chapter 38, if you have not read Genesis chapter 38 before, it is one of the weirdest chapters in the Bible. And the first time you go through, and maybe the second and third and fourth and fifth times that you go through this, you're like, what on earth is this chapter even about? Why is this in here? It's pretty gross. So Judah has 3 sons, and the first one of them gets married to this lady named Tamar. But apparently this son is really, really wicked because the Lord puts him to death. And so in keeping with ancient custom, the second brother marries Tamar, the widow. I'm really glad that we don't have that rule anymore. That sounds like a recipe for all kinds of bad things happening.
Yeah.
But Onan is supposed to marry Tamar and then have children with her, and the first son would be credited to his older brother. Are you ready for this, Steve?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
But Onan knew that the offspring would not be his. So whenever he lay with his brother's wife, I just feel embarrassed about reading the next part. I'm just not even going to read it. But it's in the Bible. So go read it. and feel embarrassed for yourself. It's just like, I'm not even going to say the words online.
Ew.
It
sounds ooey.
This is a really ooey chapter. So what he did was wicked in the Lord's sight, so he put him to death too.
Okay.
So Judah, I forgot to say this. This is such a weird chapter that when the liberal scholars try to interpret this, they're like, well, this makes Judah look really bad. So it must have been like the story that people from the northern kingdom of Israel made up about Judah to make the southern kingdom look icky. And so it just kind of got, a couple hundred years later, somebody was editing all these different legends and myths, and they just kind of threw this story in here. And let me tell you, that's just so wrong. Go back to the very first verse. At that time, Judah left his brothers. At what time? At the time that he lied to his father, sold his brother into slavery. His father refused to be comforted. Everybody in the family hated each other. Everybody was lying to each other. He's racked with guilt over selling his brother into slavery and lying to his dad. This guy just can't stand to be around his family anymore. Mm-hmm. That is the most natural progression possible from one chapter to the next. This is not just some weird story that got crammed into the Bible by some later editor. That's just nonsense. This is a guy who is just so full of guilt and hatred that he can't stand to be around his family. And hopefully that doesn't apply to you, dear listener, but it might. And if it does, perfect, because God wants to say to you that other people have had that experience, and God has stayed with them and continued to work with them, and they are not permanently lost. They have not failed so hard that God can't come back into your life and do something with your life. So moving on, but how do you get back on track? Like when you really have messed up, when your family or your whatever it is, it could just, and it doesn't even have to be dramatic, whatever way that you feel like you've screwed your life up. Here's how this story goes on. So Judah has a third son who's too young to get married. So he says to Tamar, I will let you marry him when he's old enough, but in the meantime, maybe you should go live back at your dad's house. Well, what's that? Like, he's just lying to her again. It's just part of the pattern. He's like, this is a femme fatale. Got to use our French phrase for the day. Every single one of my sons that sleeps with this woman ends up dying. So obviously I'm not going to give her my third and last son. So he packs her off, and now she lives with the shame of being a widow, being kicked out of her father-in-law's house. In her society, she's now damaged goods. And no son has been raised up to carry on the name of her first husband, which is the whole purpose of all these weird ancient rules. You got to have a son to carry on your name, and now there's no son because she's been shipped off. So she comes up with this cool plot that we don't really recommend. I said it was a cool plot, but don't do this. This is one of the stories in the Bible where it's what we call descriptive, like it describes what somebody does. It's not prescriptive, so this is not telling you what you should do. It's just saying, here's what somebody did. And so what she did was she disguised herself as a prostitute and went and sat by the road when she knew Judah would be walking along. And so he was like, oh, prostitute, what a great idea. Descriptive, not prescriptive. So he sleeps with her, but she's got a veil on, so he doesn't know it's her. And then when he finds out that she's pregnant, he gets really angry. And he actually says, "Bring her out and have her burned to death."
Wow.
Oh man, these people are so intense. But he had agreed to pay her, and gave her his signature ring that everybody had back. Like, instead of signing your name, you had a ring, and you would press that in some warm wax, and that would be your signature. So he had given that to her in promise of paying her with a goat. Here's goats again. There's goats all over these stories. So he's like, "She should burn for being a prostitute." And she's like, "Hey, whose ring is this?"
Yeah.
And at that point, he's got a really big decision to make. He can be like, "Oh, that's where my ring went. You stole my ring." Like, he could totally blame that on her, try to make up some story, which would be par for the course in this family, would be to make up a story and try to protect yourself from shame and humiliation by lying about it. So that's totally an option. And in that culture, everybody's probably going to believe him. He's a man. She's this widow. Obviously, she must have been cursed by God because, two of her husbands died, like all that kind of stuff. But instead, Judah recognized his ring and his staff, and he says these words: "She is more righteous than I am, since I wouldn't give her to my son Shelah." And he did not sleep with her again. But as the story goes on, he takes her back into his home and provides for her, and she has twins, and he raises their twins, but without sleeping with her again. Here's the big point. This is all gonna come together. If you want to get back on track with God and start cleaning up the messes in your life, it requires radical truth telling. And like, this is the first time, or one of the first times in this whole story, that we see a guy voluntarily and radically tell the truth. And that truth is, I was wrong and she is more righteous than me. Radical truth telling about just like admitting the facts about who we are and how we've messed up. That is the first step towards repentance, which means changing our way of thinking. And when we change the way that we think, that leads to transformation, which means changing our form, changing who we are, changing how we live and interact with the world. And so this is just a huge moment in the story of this family when one guy finally says, "I'm wrong and she's right, and now I'm going to take responsibility for my actions instead of trying to cover it up." So big. So super weird story. Why is it? I probably spent 20 years wondering why on earth is this crazy story in the Bible. Mm-hmm. But it's the key to understanding a lot of stuff that's going to happen next. So go read it and think about it and mull it over in your mind and maybe do some internet research about it. But whatever you do, read it. And I think we'll wrap up there.
Okay.
And tell all our listeners, hang in there. We're pulling for you. God is still with you. Even if it doesn't feel like it, God is still working out his purposes in your life. Tell the truth with radical honesty and start to change the way you think. And if you're free on Sunday morning sometime, come visit us at New Life in downtown Wellman. You can come in the front door or the 8th Avenue doors at 257 8th Avenue, and we have a door on the other side of the building that you can access through the city parking lot that's just off 9th Avenue in downtown Wellman. So I hope we get to see you around soon.
All right. That is Real Talk with Aaron and Steve here on Steve Shetler Media. We'll do it again next week.